January 2nd, 2015, and as revised on July 14th, 2015. Adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2015, which has been posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, faxed to the Our Town, the Record, and the community newspapers, and distributed all persons containing requesting copies of the same pursuant to said act. In case of an emergency or fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. There are immediate leaks to the right, and the double doors at the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcast.
Will everyone join me in the salute of the flag, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Cabrera.
Here.
Council members Trevino.
Here.
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 Eisenberg.
Here.
Messer.
Here.
Lindenau.
Here.
Maroney.
Here.
Borough Attorney Ronald Dario.
Here.
Borough Administrator Roberta Stern.
Here.
Borough Clerk Jean Calibra is here.
Okay, report the Borough Engineer. Moynihan.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor and Council, our office issued an engineer's report dated the 6th for tonight's meeting. The first item on the list is the Economic Recovery Program. This past month, the DPW had addressed some vegetation that was of issue as it related to the Hanjin property. The Borough Attorney has been in contact with Hanjin subsequent to that work being completed, and again, they're still communicating with them to attempt to secure the necessary easement after that work was completed as requested by Hanjin Properties. The next item on the list is the PSE&G improvements on Central Avenue. There's work that needs to occur on Esplanade and Central Avenue, which is to occur in the summer and fall of this year. Subsequently, in the fall of this year, PSE&G intends to pave Central Avenue. The next item on the list is the 69 kV improvement project, which is the large utility poles which would be constructed along Maywood Avenue. The governing body had requested, and I know Ms. Stern's working with Dave Hollenbach of PSE&G to schedule a meeting before the governing body to present the project prior to construction so that the governing body and the residents have the necessary information prior to any of that work proceeding. The Maywood Avenue Streetscape Project, which is an NJDOT-funded project, our office will be completing the construction documents within the next 2 weeks. We'll provide a copy to both the governing body and the borough administrator for review and comment. Subsequent to any revision requests, we would go out to bid with those plans. The scope of the project would be from Central Avenue to the railroad tracks. There were some issues where the businesses did not want to be part of this project from the railroad tracks to East Hunter, so the borough would dedicate its funds as it relates to the grant and that section of the roadway. The fifth item on the list is the West Pleasant Avenue traffic circulation, which was the discretionary aid grant that the borough received in the amount of $30,000. That work was completed this past week, and we'll begin closing out and punch lists as it relates to that project. The final item on the list is the Jersey Avenue Parkway, which are a municipal aid grant, and also the year 2015 Roadway Improvement Program project. That bid opening will be occurring on August 19th. Subsequently, we'll be issuing a recommendation letter after that bid is opened for potential action by the governing body. That concludes my report. One item that's not within my report that we've received is there has been an issuance of a letter from the DOT, which is a call for projects for the next round of municipal aid projects. That submission would occur in October of this upcoming year. So we'll work with Ms. Stern and the governing body to develop any roadways that you'd like to consider for potential grant funding for the following year, 2016. I'd be glad to address any questions or comments that the governing body has.
Is there a question on the turnaround?
Sure.
Pleasant Avenue. It seems like they grind in circles
Sure.
around it.
Well, one of the reasons was to create a textured surface or asphalt surface in that area, which will provide traction and gripping, so that as someone made a 180-degree turn on that roadway, there would be some traction as they made it. So it provides an added safety feature as it relates to the project.
Rick, you had mentioned that the work on Central Avenue to Esplanade is still on. Do you have any dates remotely?
I don't, other than they've stated it will occur this summer. I can reach out, though.
Thursday after the summer is rapidly coming to a close.
It is coming to a close, and we're getting close to the fall. I will reach out to them and get a date for you there.
Anyone else?
Mayor, just real quick, thank you for your office and yourself for overseeing the West Plaza project.
I appreciate
We're
that.
having a little hiccups, but it worked out great, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, at this time, I'd like to, we have no proclamations and presentations, let's open to the members of the public. Is there anyone from the public wishing to be heard? Mr. Cepos.
Sure, thank you.
There's one for everybody.
Thank you very much.
Jim Sager, 644 Wyoming Avenue. Roberta, there's one for you.
Thank you.
Since May 2013, I've been advising this council and the state legislators that the 2007 through 2011 claims for individual real property reassessments based on changed market values were not justified. On January the 6th, 2014, I submitted a detailed analysis that clearly showed why the claims for revised property assessments should not have been allowed and no corresponding tax refunds should have been paid. Officials and administrators appeared not to believe my assertions at that time or since. To his credit, State Senator Gordon submitted my analysis to his tax consultants, and they confirmed that it was absolutely correct. He now agrees that municipalities across the state never should have paid millions of dollars in tax refunds based on market value reassessment claims. None should have been paid. On the same basis, Maywood should not have paid any property tax refunds based on claims for market value reassessment. I believe you have paid a huge amount of money in tax refunds. I am formally requesting that this council and our legislators acknowledge that the market value reassessment claims were flawed and that no tax refunds based on them should have been paid. Further, that action will be taken to prevent the same errors from being made for future market-based reassessment claims. In order to properly consider my request, you will have to carefully study the basis for an individual property tax calculation. To highlight the critical factors, I have prepared a review of the calculation details, and I've provided you with a copy of my review. Anybody have any questions?
Well, just one comment. This isn't our jurisdiction. This is the State Division of Taxation. Makes up the rules.
This borough...
Can I just finish, Mr. Cepos, please? And the Bergen County Board of Taxation sets further guidelines upon us. This is not our jurisdiction, and this is the wrong place, really, to be raising this.
The claims were made against the town of Maywood. They were assessed by the county tax board, but they were reviewed and worked on by both our CFO and our town attorney. Both of those men should have known that those claims were in error. They had an error in the way they were computed, and they never should have been approved or refunds paid. You have the authority to refuse to pay them. and then it has to be adjudicated. It has to be looked into. I've asked the state legislature in the documents that I sent them to change the legislation so that the review process for the claims is revoked. It's incorrect. It doesn't work when there's a rapid change in market values. And they haven't listened to me either. But if you would pass a resolution that you weren't going to pay these refunds under these circumstances, you would have the right to do that, and then it becomes an issue that's going to be settled in the proper venues.
Mr. Staples, first of all, it's the tax assessor and the borough attorney, not the CFO. But what would happen is that they would go to tax court. First they would go to county board, and then they would go to tax court. And we analyze every case, and we fight where we think we can win, and we settle where we think we might have a chance of losing, and we try to minimize the expense to the borough under the rules that are given to us. You don't like the rules. And if you don't like the rules, that's a perfectly plausible opinion. But this isn't the place to get the rules changed.
The handbook for tax assessors spells out the way you calculate a claim for a reassessment. That procedure contains a step which has an error in it. It's a big error. Our tax assessor, our CFO, and our attorneys should have known where that error was.
No, Mr. Staples.
Now, wait a minute. It took me...
Mr. Staples, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do find your report very interesting, and I'm certainly going to read it and try to digest it. Unfortunately, you're up against the 5-minute time, and I just want to ask you just to wrap it up.
I'll wrap it at any time. If you have any questions, my phone number is with there.
I appreciate that.
I can explain that in 10 minutes, and in 30 minutes I can explain the error in all those claims.
But Mr. Staples, I just want to explain something. Every town uses... We're just looking one second.
Why don't we, why don't we
town...
set up a meeting between yourself, the attorney, myself, and Mr. Eisenberg?
Anytime you want.
But I want something put on the record here. There's no mistake that was made in Maywood that wasn't made everywhere in the state of New Jersey.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
We're...
Millions and millions of dollars across the street never should have been paid.
So if something was done wrong, we were just playing by the rules handed to us.
Thank you for clarifying. All right. Anyone else from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, we'll close to the public. At this point, I would like a motion to go into close for the purpose of contract negotiations. Discussion? Is there a motion?
Yes, to make a motion to go to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood pursuant to provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, the Mayor and Council may close session to discuss the following subject matters: contract negotiations. Be it further resolved, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood will return to open session after this meeting.
This shouldn't be very long, ladies and gentlemen, and we will come back. Is there a motion to go into regular order of business? Second. Okay.
Linda now, Trevino, all in favor, other than the wrong
Let's just, so how about we just went back and...
Go back to the
All right, there's no
presentation.
public hearing on pending ordinance, there's none. Adoption ordinance, there's none. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion for the approval of the July 14, 2015 work session and closed session minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
You did?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Trevino,
Yes.
Didier,
Yes.
Eisenberg,
Yes.
Messer,
Yes.
Linda now,
Yes.
Marone.
Presentation of bills and claims. Bills? Just need a motion, okay. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Trevino,
Yes.
Didier,
Yes.
Eisenberg,
Yes.
Messer,
Yes.
Linda now,
Yes.
Marone.
Yes. Correspondence and report of the borough clerk.
I do not have a report this evening. Thank you.
All right, for administrator.
Mayor, I just got some very good news. Apparently, Hanjin has agreed to sign and have the easement go through their property. So I'm sorry that Greg left and he doesn't have the good news, but now we can move forward. We have the arrangement and the contract proposal with Paramus, which was presented to us last year. This easement kind of held things up. Now we can go forward and hopefully get rid of that pump station once and for all, so we could see what else, what other purpose that property can serve. And I don't know, I don't want to go over some things that anyone else has, so I don't know, Frank, Mr. Maroney, by any chance, do you have the swim pool camp information?
I do not.
Okay. Because we had this extra week and the kids have been enjoying the pool so much, we're doing a Maywood Summer Club swim pool camp. And that will be for the week August 24th through the 28th from 8:30 to 11:30. It's only open to campers who have already been part of the program, and there's a limit of 75 spots. So it's just something additional that we will be able to offer parents who are not going away that week, and they'll have something for their kids to do in the morning. Also, let's go to the movies. I don't know if anybody's going to talk about the theater camp, so I don't want to, no? Well, as you know, or may not have realized, we had a theater camp this summer on top of all our other activities, and the show starring all these wonderful kids, including one I know, are having their show on Friday and Saturday at the Maywood Avenue School at 7 p.m. So hope some of you are able to go and enjoy it. There will be lots of singing, mostly musical numbers, and all of them come from different plays.
My daughter,
Yes, I know. I saw Ava's name.
Paul Cargio, that the brother and sister
Yeah.
that run this are unbelievable with the kids. Unbelievable.
They've done an unbelievable
My daughter
job.
comes home with a new show tune. I mean, she's doing this dance called the Pony, which I didn't know. I guess it's from, what, 60s? I don't even know.
60s.
60s. And doing the Pony, just, it's an unbelievable time, and I'm looking forward to the show.
I am too. I hope I can get to see one of them. That's all I have tonight,
I
Mayor.
would like to go back to me, because I did forget something.
Okay, we're going back in time again. All right.
Back in time.
Correspondence and report of the Borough
Keep the
Clerk.
theme going here tonight.
Absolutely.
So Roberta, I'm sorry, I wasn't here for the last meeting, but we had an issue at camp, and one of the young boys had to be taken, a young child had to be taken to the hospital. And no one accompanied that boy to the hospital when they can't walk.
I know the incident that you're talking about, and I'm not sure that that's the case. I mean, this young child was sleep deprived and hadn't eaten, and we understand that's why he had the issue that he had, but I don't know about the fact that it sounds vaguely familiar.
Sleep deprivation as much as it was heat exhaustion.
It was supposedly a combination, but I don't know about that. I mean, I remember hearing something about it, but I don't remember.
Just briefly, is there a procedure where someone from the
Yes,
goes...
absolutely, absolutely. So that's why I'm saying that doesn't make sense to me, except if it was our ambulance and they're our employees, but I don't know. I can't answer because I don't remember the circumstances, so I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
Maybe you could look into that.
Certainly, no, absolutely.
Yeah, only because once the ambulance leaves, then that child was there by themselves without...
That's not what happened, but I'll get you more detail.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Sure.
And Mr. Maroney, if I don't speak with Roberta, can you touch me on that as well?
Yeah.
I appreciate it. All right, now, wait, I'm sorry. Does anyone else have any questions for the administrator? Correspondence and report from the Borough Clerk.
I did receive a letter of resignation from candidate Aaron Strager, and 2 days, weeks later, I received from Republican County Committee that the new candidate for the November Republican council member will be Claire Padavana. So there will be a change in our ballot for November. Claire being placed on instead of Aaron Strager. That's what I have.
I would say congratulations, but more like, are you crazy? It's,
No vaccines.
For the borough attorney?
Mr. Mayor, I have no report to do.
All right. Committee reports. Councilman Giordino.
No report. I just would like to congratulate the Maywood Dolphin swim team. Another undefeated season. They won the leagues, and all the swimmers that made it to Canada did a great job.
Yeah, I believe we're going to have that probably not at the next meeting. Okay, thank you. Mr. DeHare.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Building Department, from the period of July 14th to August 11th, they collected over $9,000 in fees, and the zoning official continues to send out letters to residents who are non-compliant with the borough maintenance ordinance. From the fire board, attended the Fire Police Annual Picnic in Memorial Park earlier this month. It was a wonderful time. They had just a tremendous time fellowship with a great group of people. They work very hard, and they have one heck of a picnic. Fire prevention is on target to complete the annual inspections throughout the town. And I was asked to inquire, which I will with the borough administrator, the status of the repairs at 30 West Hunter, the roof, the leaders and gutters, as well as the driveway. So I'll touch base with you. Keep them informed as well. But I know it's moving forward. Planning board, they are in a similar process as Councilman Eisenberg and Messar in updating the borough ordinances that pertain to zoning laws. They're working pretty hard on that, and they'll be getting back to the council with the recommended changes. They're also very proactive in planning the redevelopment of what is now the Sears site, so that when they move out, supposedly in the near future, we can move forward in the right direction. That will be in the best benefit of the town, as well as hopefully a new tenant. And at the August 6th meeting of the planning board, we had a very, very informative discussion regarding the affordable housing action that was brought on by the state Supreme Court, and how it affects Maywood and all the other towns in Jersey. It's driving everybody crazy, and it's costing a great deal of money. And based on the existing standards and calculations that are in place as of just recently, as of today, Maywood is in a favorable position in that situation. However, as barring any changes to calculations and court actions. But other than that, we are in a pretty good. It was very, very informative. It answered a lot of questions, and that's all I have to report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Eisenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Messer and I are still working on the ordinances, and when I have a decent-sized list, I'll report probably next month. But I just wanted to comment on something that was in the paper in the last couple of weeks. Last year, I spoke about Captain Robert Lewis, who was perhaps our greatest Maywoodian ever. He was the co-pilot of the Enola Gay. And last week marked the 70th anniversary of the bombing at Hiroshima. At the time, on the 6th, around that date, there were several articles. There were some about non-nuclear proliferation and the hazards of nuclear war. And there were a number of letters to the editor, and there was an editorial. And, of course, there were certain people that felt that the United States was wrong for Hiroshima. And there were a number of people who wrote back and made it clear that it was the right decision at the time. I just wanted to state some facts about that, particularly because the Maywoodian was involved in the bombing. In Hiroshima, 150,000 lives were lost. In Nagasaki, 75,000 lives were lost. Now, in contrast, at Normandy, 425,000 lives were lost, and there was no nuclear weapons there. Had the United States landed on Japan, it's estimated that there could have been over 1 million lives lost. This was a decision that the United States made. It was a decision at the time. It may not be parallel with today and with the bombs that we have today, which are much more powerful. But at the time, it was the right decision. And I'm grateful that Captain Lewis is Maywoodian. I think he's probably our best citizen that we've ever had in this community, and I don't want the record tarnished in any way.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman. Thank you very much. Mr. Massa?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To start off on my favorite topic, the mandate, Chapter 54 mandate on police cameras for new vehicles. Recently, the Acting Attorney General had issued some guidelines out of the State Office for body-worn cameras, which does not include vehicle dashboard-mounted cameras. A directive was put forward. They also announced that there is some funding for body-worn cameras of $2.5 million to be dispersed throughout the state. My understanding is that basically comes down to about $175,000 for all of Bergen County, or about $500 per camera per police officer, which unfortunately is still a drop in the bucket. I have not seen any movement on Deptford's case. Last meeting I asked our borough attorney to look into what other towns are doing or not doing when it comes to the purchase of new vehicles and this mandate. What did you find out?
I took an informal poll to 6 or 7 towns that we work closely with, and everyone seems to be taking a wait-and-see attitude. It's costly.
Right. Right. So we're still, I don't know, another 4 to 6 weeks away from receiving the new police vehicles?
I haven't heard of a delivery date, quite frankly.
Okay,
I would
so we
guess
don't
it's
have
at
delivery
least
date.
4 to 6 weeks.
So it's at least 4 to 6 weeks. So probably sometime in September, maybe the end of September, we'll have to make a decision as to which way we're going to go with those vehicles. And hopefully something comes out of the state as to what the decision is with Deptford and this being a non-funded mandate. August 4th was National Night Out in the Park, that Tuesday. I'd like to thank the Maywood Police Department, especially Mary Tuchek, Captain Natal, and Chief Pegg for putting on the National Night Out. It was very well attended. I'd like to thank all the volunteer groups that were in attendance as well. If you were at the park enjoying that night, you might have looked up on the top of the field house there and saw something new, and that would be our new outdoor alerting system, or our lightning detection system, as it is otherwise known as. The one for Memorial Park is up and running. In speaking with the chief that night, he actually showed me an email that was sent to him stating that the system detected lightning in the area and sent him an email alert at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. So, just being the concerned citizen and councilman I am, I went in to see Roberta today to make sure that the horn didn't go off at 3:30 a.m. when the chief got an email. And she showed me the portal that you log into and showed me that, in fact, it is active all the time, 24 hours a day. However, the hours of operation for the audible horn has been set from 7 a.m. to 9:59 p.m. Monday through Sunday. So even though there's lightning in the area and the system detects it, the strobe actually will go off in the middle of the night, but the horn will not sound unless it's between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9:59 p.m. So I went, good, excellent. So the system there is up and running. We're still waiting for internet down at the pole to get that.
Yeah, we had a
Get that
little bit of a glitch there. Cablevision had sent me a email just recently saying that they need $2,600 to do the connection at the pool because it requires construction to move the lines over there, and I'm not accepting that, so we're looking to see how else we can do it.
Okay.
Have we checked Verizon to see if...
They need a static IP, not a DSL line, and I'm just waiting to see if I could route it a different way than the way that the guy who did the site survey was only looking at one thing. I think we feel there's another way that it could be connected.
Verizon offers a static IP, I have one.
Well,
Okay.
They don't have FiOS down there. That's the only place down in town that they don't have FiOS.
No FiOS.
So it would have to be ISDN.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll be up and running soon. So anyway, we have access to this portal. We set it up, send emails out to certain individuals in town. Right now it's the chief, DPW, get email alerts that when the system goes off or when the system is offline, whatever the case is. We also have access to another portal which gives you more details about the weather in terms of setting up different things like alerts and rainfall, lightning strikes, et cetera, et cetera. The company that this was acquired through has offered a webinar training
So Roberta and I will be sending an email out to all pertinent town organizations who might be interested in access to that portal, like OEM, CERT, Fire Department, Police Department, the youth sports organizations, and we'll be setting that up shortly. Next step in the outdoor learning system is to draft an ordinance so that the public understands what the purpose of the system is and how it works. And it's very simple. It has to work technically, and the public has to be made aware of what it's doing, and the public has to understand that they have to vacate the area to get out of harm's way.
Just so you know, Gary Newman is making up some signs that we've copied from other towns that have this system that are going to be posted at the park, which explains in a few short words what the system is doing and that you have to leave. So we're just waiting for him to get back to me with the language we're going to use so we can make those signs up.
Yeah, the public has to be educated. I'd like to put a letter in the Our Town explaining the system and what it's here for and what it does. I've also asked the borough attorney to look into what other towns have as an ordinance for being in the park when the system goes off. All right, so we can discuss it at the next meeting. Moving right along. Also, one other thing at the park, Hackensack Health and Wellness was giving out bicycle helmets to the youth that night. And I had a discussion with my son about bicycle safety shortly thereafter, my oldest, and I had said to him, I said, you know that when you're on a bike you have to obey the rules of the road, traffic laws. And he kind of looked at me like, yeah, I'm 13, I don't know the traffic laws. So I spoke to the police chief and I spoke to Captain Natal, and what we're trying to do are two things. Number one, they're going to speak to Mike Jordan the next time they have a meeting to see if they can do something at assembly at both schools to talk about bicycle safety, rules of the road, helmets, straps the kids never wear, et cetera, et cetera. And they're also going to try to set up, perhaps for the fall festival, a bicycle rodeo. This is something that I understand was done a few years ago by the Maywood Police Department, but it hasn't been done recently, so I'd really like to see that.
It comes back to Derek's license plates. We used to have to know all this stuff and go through testing.
Right, right. So we'll be on,
We can get to the next step.
be on the lookout for that. Also, just quickly, there's a bill on the governor's desk that, if it's signed, will require youth serving organizations to have AEDs at every home game and practice that they have, which is, in my opinion, it's a noble idea, but it's also, you could say, it's an unfunded mandate. Luckily, Roberta Stern had acquired several AEDs for the borough and the youth serving organizations in the past. So we do have potential help for that, but the status of that bill is unknown, and we'll have to see what happens once the governor gets his hands on it. Coaches Park. The mayor and I attended a meeting with the representatives from the Maywood Youth Athletic Association and the DPW, and Coaches Park has fallen in disrepair over the years, mainly because the DPW hasn't had the equipment needed to keep it in the shape that it needs to be in, but thankfully that portion of that issue has been solved. But it needs some TLC, and it needs it pretty quickly. Cleveland Field's going to be shut down for the fall so that it can be rehab over the fall, and then as soon as the spring thaw comes, the DPW is going to do what it can to see how much it can get the field back in playable shape. But Coaches Park needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed fairly quickly since the fall season is coming very quickly for baseball in town. So this is something that we're going to need to speak about very shortly. Just for the public's information, what an AED is. An AED is a defibrillator, basically. It is something that has now become the standard instead of in lieu of CPR, from what I understand. Now training is more towards, instead of CPR, going to one of these AEDs, which now has been made so simple that you just really need to press a button once or twice, and it gives you instructions as to how it works for when when somebody goes into cardiac arrest. Okay. So that's for the councilman. And last but not least, I had the privilege of attending the Peterborough Aircraft Noise Abatement Advisory Committee meeting several weeks ago. My first time. This committee is made up of mayors and/or their duly represented appointees to talk about issues with noise from air traffic in the area into Peterborough. The, the one interesting thing I did take away from the meeting is that they are looking to change some of the visual flight patterns of Teterboro out of the north, which will basically take the aircraft and move them out of the vicinity of Hackensack Hospital. This may or may not mean that air traffic is increased in Maywood during certain times of the year and during certain days. The one thing I did learn is the difference between, planes landing into the wind and how sometimes they come out of the north and out of the south. And it was very interesting. It's not done yet, but at least now we have eyes and ears as to what's going on at Teterboro, and we can report back to the public as to any changes that are coming down the pipe and how they affect us. So it was very interesting, and I thank you for the opportunity to attend that meeting. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lindenau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things with the DPW. The guys have been very busy around town mulching all the parks. Roy said there's another
100 yards.
100 tons
100.
coming in. I think he said he already did 100.
Did 100.
So they're getting the parks all spruced up and looking nice. They're ready for the street fair. They're going to have a couple guys there all day, keeping the garbage clear, and they're going to bring a small crew in after the fair's over to make it look like nothing happened that day.
The instant magic.
They do a good job every year cleaning up afterwards, so they're going to sweep empty garbage, make everything go away after the fact. So they're ready for that. The community garden sprinklers that were installed recently. A few years ago, there was a quote for around $30,000 to have that installed. With our new, very qualified supervisors that we have on staff, we were able to do that job with our own people for around $1,000 in materials. So hiring qualified people pays off. They did a great job with that, and Community Garden is very happy about it too, that they have sprinklers. Please don't dump garbage down at the DPW. You can't just leave garbage around. There are hazardous waste collection sites throughout Bergen County. If anybody needs info, it's available upstairs. There's a site in Paramus at Bergen Community College, Mawa at Camp Gore, and in Moonachie at the BCUA facility. And that includes all kinds of hazardous waste and stuff, and there's different dates for all the locations. So
And
please don't
tires, too.
I'm sorry?
Tires.
Yes.
We don't accept tires any longer.
Okay. So please don't leave things at the DPW, though it's not there for that. They're not garbage collectors. That's all I have tonight. Thank you, sir.
Roberta, where are we with the cameras?
That was my, yes, go ahead.
As I was mentioning, I was mentioning that I was expecting another quote, and they did. I was away last week, as you know. They were supposed to leave it for me. They left me their card, but no quote. So I'll call tomorrow and find out if, in fact, I have one. If I have a second quote, this other firm in Totowa never showed up. They called me. They canceled a couple of times. I've asked about them. I don't think they're big enough, but why they even expressed interest, I don't know. So this other company is somebody who's done work in this building as well.
This is the company that did the library cameras?
No, I have that quote already. This is the second company.
Okay.
But they've also done work for the police department.
All right.
And like I said, he told me I'd have it last week, but I don't have it yet. So as soon as we see what that is, we can go ahead with the DPW, if not the park as well, because we're getting both quotes.
Okay. Thanks.
And that's another reason why we needed the static IP at the park, for the cameras, not only the lightning detection system.
Thanks. All right, Council President Monroe?
Mr. Mayor, I don't have anything to report this evening. I just want to echo Mr. Trevino's sentiments on the Maywood Dolphins. They did a wonderful job this year. Congratulations to all the coaches and all the volunteers, many parent volunteers, training, what have you. It doesn't happen without all volunteers that they have. So congratulations. And to Mr. Messer, when they're discussing Maywood Police and bicycles, is scooters included in that?
It can be.
It should be. That's its
They
material.
have the motorized ones now, too. They have the motorized ones.
Not motorized, no, just regular scooters.
Oh, I don't know. The Razors? They're not cheap.
That's not motorized.
They're motorized.
They have
They're electric.
Razors also motorized?
They're electric.
Oh, they're electric.
They're electric.
But I think only self-propelling
Gotcha.
is allowed to be driven on the street.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Let's see what we have there. Just very briefly. As we did last year, the mayor and council placed a booster ad in the Hackensack High School Football Journal, and I want to thank Mr. Eisenberg for his help in getting that taken care of, and also I want to thank the clerk for getting that done at such short notice. Recently, we've been getting a bunch of letters from parents who are thrilled with the camp that the director has been running, and one struck me that I just wanted to read. It's a very brief one. I just want to read it very quickly. It says, "Dear Yvette and Lisa, I just wanted to thank the both of you for a great summer camp experience for my kids. This will more than likely be their last year as they are aging out, but I do not know of any other town that offers such a great program that is so affordable. It has given me much peace of mind over the past several summers. Regards, Laura Comos." And that's one of many. And I just want to thank her. She's doing a great job right there. And Yvette have done a great job, as they have every single year.
Yep.
You might have noticed, I know you guys saw the circles, but you might have noticed a few signs that, in the islands that say, "Keep Maywood Beautiful, please use the crosswalks." There is an initiative that along with the Chamber of Commerce, that we are undertaking, the Keep Maywood Beautiful program. And those signs, with some other signs, will be going in the islands to prevent people from walking through and using the crosswalks. It's obviously unsafe, and it also is damaging to the vegetation that's there. We really don't want that. And along with that, there are going to be some stickers, the Keep Maywood Beautiful stickers. You'll see them in some of the participating merchants, their doors. So with that, please keep Maywood beautiful and do not walk on across the aisles and walk at the crosswalks, please. There's plenty of them. Let's see. And we did bring it up, what a great job they did with it. I'm pointing to imaginary maniac, he's not here, but they did a great job with the circles. I mean, if you saw it before, it looked haphazard, and I know Roberta, I'm preaching to the choir, but many times when you go with the lowest responsible bidder, they're the lowest bidder for a reason. So, but we're bound by statute to accept the lowest bidder, but thankfully we have professionals that can help guide them through and let them know exactly what we're looking for. So, all's well that ends well as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And just so you know, I was up there today, and I parked my car and I was watching. I wanted to see how people were reacting to these circles, and I watched about 10 cars. I watched exactly 10 cars. One of them was directly behind me, and 7 out of those 10 cars actually obeyed the direction of the arrows and stayed on the outside of the red circle. So I think it's the red circle. I think people see red and they recognize that is something that's, whether it's stop or whatever it is, they recognize that and they're going to go around, hopefully. But that's something we're going to keep an eye on. Let's see. We had a very productive quarterly meeting with the members of the Hackbar Foundation a couple weeks back, and they were very pleased with the progress the new director has made with regard to restocking the young adult reading section and the overall job that Ms. Caitlin Hull has done since she's been there. Along those lines, the library is having a series of guest speakers dealing with gardening and sustainability, and I'm sorry that Arlene is not here to hear this, but there's some speakers coming, some guest speakers. Friday, August 21st, and Wednesday, the 26th. There will be some speakers that will be talking about sustainability and wild edibles. The sustainability is on the garden. These are both free programs, and it's at 6:30 at the Maywood Public Library in the Hackbar room. One of them she's an expert, and she's a horticulturist. It's a really good one. And then the wild edibles, I don't know if you guys saw on the 19th, there was an article on Bob Saunders. His name is Bob Saunders. He goes around and he actually eats weeds. It teaches you how to forage, it's called. So, yes. So anyway, there was a nice article, I have it here. He will be speaking. He will be speaking, and he will be doing a tour. He'll be speaking, and then he'll be taking people to Forest Woods, and you'll be able to find out what kind of things are edible in Forest Woods.
Having dinner in Forest Woods.
Laugh if you will.
Shoot a couple deer.
Yeah.
Some venison.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, okay. As Mr. Messer pointed out, I want to thank Mary Tuchek and the police department for the wonderful job that they did on National Night Out. Every year they do a great job. Mary really puts her heart and soul into this. The fire police picnic, once again, great time. The food was unbelievable. And I want to thank Assemblyman Eustace for attending. And I want to say that him and his aide narrowly defeated myself and my son in a heated game of water balloon toss. My son was not the one to get wet, it was me, but, it is what it is. Next year there will be promised a rematch. And lastly, this Sunday, the 16th, is the street fair. Please come by and support our local merchants, because as you know, many of them have stands out there and they have their food, so please come out. All right. We have council approval of the following. From the Oak Ale House, request for an outdoor dining permit. From Principal Ray Bauer, Principal Memorial School, request to close all... Did I skip one here?
Skip appointments.
Rewind.
Rewinding. There are no actions, I'm sorry. I looked at the... You looked at the resolutions. The agenda, you'll see.
Appointments? I am looking at it.
Okay. Appointments approval of the following. Yash Patel is a junior firefighter for the Maywood Fire Department, effective August 11, 2015. Is there a motion for the appointment?
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Trevino?
Yes.
Didier?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Now, council approval of the following, if Mr. Lindenau says it's okay.
Proceed.
All right, thank you. From the, number one, from the Oak Ale House, request for an outdoor dining permit. Number two, from Ray Bauer, Principal of Memorial School, request to close off West Fairmount Avenue for recess, lunch, gym class, and other school activities, and the use of Edel Avenue fields and boarded off street on the north side of West Fairmount Avenue as needed during the regular school day, and for the Spring Carnival on May 13, 2016, with a rain date of May 18, 2016, and additional special events. In addition, request to hold trunk or treat activities on Grant Avenue directly in front of Memorial School from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Number three, from the Lucas Foundation, request to hold an on-premises 50/50 raffle at the Paintbrush Studio on September 12, 2015 at 9:30 p.m. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion to approve. Second?
Discussion.
Sure. William, is there a second?
I'm sorry, I thought I heard a second.
Second.
Sorry, discussion?
Sure.
Two things on number two from Ray Bauer. Was the trunk or treat on Grand Avenue last year?
Fairmount.
So this is the first time he's asking for the front of the school? And what date?
To be decided.
Yeah, to be decided. You didn't give a date. You said between 6 and 8 p.m.
Should we strike that from the request until that's clarified?
Do you think
Is Halloween on the 31st, student?
I don't know what date it's on. I mean, shouldn't we know?
On the school day?
Halloween's a Saturday.
Request here.
Let me just add the...
Wait a second, here we go. Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't have a date.
Oh, I just...
So this year, for the first time, we'd like to hold our trunk or treat activities on Grant Avenue directly in front of Memorial School on 16.
Well, I'm sure he's not going to want to do it on the 30th, this Cat's night, we're not doing it, so like this is going to be good.
Well, you can approve it pending,
I mean, I'll be honest, I have a police concern with that. Is it from Fairmont to where? I mean...
Listen, we can pull out, speak to the chief, and draw this one, we got time.
We don't have to pull it out. I mean, that's like we did fire brigade, that's all.
well, we're not going to do one right now, so what would you like to do?
Yeah, you're right, because you had soccer at that time, is that what you're saying?
Well, I have no idea. I just don't
Well,
know.
if you do it from,
How about we pull it, and put it on next one, the attorney said, or next, but we will have clarification at that point. And maybe we should run this past the chief
had.
Brand Avenue, it's always been Fairmont.
He was CC'd on this?
Sure.
Did he have any input? So you didn't say no? All right, well,
You would have...
Maybe we can just point out,
that
maybe he's just thinking it's the same spot. You know?
Okay, so you want to just pull the whole thing, we'll place it on, I mean, everything...
Everything
School's not going to start...
Can we pull the trunk or treat and approve everything else? Just-
Take out the last sentence and approve everything else, and that's
In
it.
addition, Mark,
Okay.
I guess, please.
Sorry.
I'll get it
Yeah,
clarified,
confirmation.
yeah, I'll get it clarified, so we can place it on.
Thank you, appreciate that.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor, also.
Sure.
On scene number 2, regarding the closing off of West Fairmont Avenue, how is the police department involved, or are they necessarily involved in closing?
No, that street gets closed all the time for softball and everything else, with the benches and the horses that are there. So that's a common thing.
That's sufficient?
Yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, that's not out of the normal.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
No.
All right, there, motion for the approval, subject, we have that. I guess we should amend that, subject to the, is there a motion for the approval, subject to the removal of the, in addition?
Not subject to, but with the removal of that.
With the removal, thank you, with the removal of the in addition sentence.
So moved.
Roll call.
Trevino?
Yes.
Zahere?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Nestor?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
All right, resolutions by title.
Resolution 11015, resolution appointing special law enforcement officers. Resolution 11115, authorizing Bergen County Trust Fund project contract. Resolution 11215, resolution approving settlement of a tax appeal litigation for Steppin Chemical Company in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 11315, resolution awarding contract for solid waste collection and disposal services and authorizing the execution of contract in the Borough of Maywood. Resolution 11415, resolution approving the settlement of tax appeal in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 11515, resolution authorizing a shared services agreement between the Borough of Maywood and the Borough premise for leaf collection and disposal. 113 as printed will include for the term of 2 years.
2 years.
All right, is there a motion for the adoption?
Yes, I make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Trevino?
Yes.
Zahere?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Nestor?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
All right, just briefly, I want to thank the Borough of City of Hackensack, our partner, I should know that, but I want to thank them for the garbage pickup that they did for the past 2 weeks. It was out of contract, and, you know, they really helped us out. I just want to thank them. They didn't have to do that, quite frankly. It was a hardship on their end, and they did it anyway, so I would like to thank them. All right, moving on. No ordinances. Is there any new business? Is there any old business? Is there any miscellaneous business? All right, we had our closed session. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Thank you.
No problem.